Lights. Welcome to episode 113. Fire! This is going to be a great episode. So many things. Get the fire truck away from the mic. First of all, what are we drinking? We're drinking a beer. Ohio has a lot of breweries. Yeah. They should be proud of themselves. A lot of Germans. This is Festivus from the Market Garden Brewery. Made in where? Ohio? Cleveland. Because I went to Cleveland.
It's a holiday ale.
It is a holiday ale. It's Festivus.
The holidays are coming.
From the market. The cups are already out at Starbucks. Everybody can start bitching about them. Yeah. Or not bitching about them or whatever. Get on a team. Uh-huh. Yes, I say fine. Holiday cups, fine. And then there are people that say they shouldn't even be having cups. And then, you know what? Here's what I'm against. Paper straws. Stop it. Just don't have straws. Right. The paper ones, no. They don't work. Okay. Or carry your own. Somebody gave me one of those steel ones I carry around on planes.
They're mushy.
They get mushy in 5 seconds. Yeah. And then it's just stupid. And then the paper's in the soda. And it just, the cough, whatever. That was a little sidetrack on that. What a fun weekend. I went to Cleveland, went to the Harbor Inn, my favorite bar. Yeah, I had a big time down there. And then there was a youngster, Lauren, was bartending, and then she got off and then sat down and drank, which was totally fun. Yeah, and there was an enormous pit bull running around the bar. It's that kind of bar. And I'm a little scared when they're that big, and I know, but turned out to be absolutely adorable. It was a very nice dog. Yeah. I mean, intimidating initially. And its name was Tori Amos. You gotta like somebody who names their dog Tori Amos because A, I really like her music, and B, she's probably one of the weirdest people ever on earth. So there you go. The dog matches the name. It didn't even look like a girl. It was just so massive. Yeah. Like 125 pounder. White. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty scared initially, but then the owner's outside and blah, blah, blah. But then the owner's like, yeah, she doesn't do so good around other dogs. I go, male ones? He goes, nope, just dogs. I went, okay. But anyway, and then off to Warren, Ohio. That show was super fun. It's between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, if you know. I never had been to Warren, Ohio. And I got so much fun stuff backstage. The opening act, because a lot of people have been asking, was Aaron Weber, if you want to look him up. Aaron Weber. He's very funny. We'll put it in the show notes. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. He was with, and then Cincinnati, always fun. Yeah. The Taft Theater, named after who? Howard Taft. What was Howard famous for? Fattest president ever. Super chubster. 340 pounds at one point. He was a chubster. So that's what we're drinking. So many things to get to. But first, Nicole in Cincinnati brought these potato chips backstage. I know. Aaron had his eye on them. I'm like, nope, they're going home for the Pubcast. These are famous in Cincinnati called Grippos. I think I'm saying that right. Barbecue. It's a half-pound bag.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Half-pounder.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're thin. Mm-hmm. Great. If you're ever in Cincinnati, I would recommend those. Grippos. Yeah. We're also tasting this. I'm not going to lie. I pre-tasted one. Cheez-It Buffalo Wings. Now, you know my feeling on don't mess with something that's already perfect. Right. They're fine. Fine. Just don't mess with the regular Cheez-Its are better. Okay. They have that fake hot sauce on them. Well, I think it's for football season. They're okay. For football season? Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's not going to stop me from eating two of them. I don't know. I just saw them and thought, but how much money did these guys spend thinking of ways to break something that's perfect? I mean, just take a vacation, Cheez-Its. Who makes them? Procter & Gamble? No, they make General Mills?
They make drugs.
They make drugs? Oh, right. I'm thinking of General Mills. Kellogg's. Yeah. Well, everybody... Food. Food. Procter & Gamble, right? My friend Greg Warren, who's a comedian, worked for them for years.
Oh, my God.
Soap, detergent. He told me that I've learned more about grocery stores from Greg Warren than anybody about how things get placement, product placement, all that shit. And, well, I won't say what he said about Gain. I'm allergic to Gain. gain is part of the reason I have this terrible allergy. There's so many chemicals. I mean, holy Jesus. But it's a very popular one. So Nicole, thanks for the chips. We'll be moving on. The blood orange beer that was brought backstage. That was from Carl and Lori. Me and Aaron drank that. I like anything blood orange. Oh, so good. Yeah. Yeah, it was very nice. There was so much stuff backstage. I always like to see the looks on the ushers' faces. They're like, will you be accepting beer? Yes! Yes, I will. And then they just keep bringing back bags, and they're like, is it normally like this? Yes! They're like, how do you get all this home? I said, well, some we don't, some we drink right here. And then I give it to the opener, who most of the time has driven. Right. And Aaron drove, so he had lots of room in his van that he does jokes about. Yeah, he never wants to park in valet because his van's such a mess. I said, or you have bodies in there and shit, Aaron. What's really going on? Why don't you ever want a valet? Leslie sent the rum back. We took a video with the rum. I took a video. I don't know if I posted it, but there was rum and Christmas little holiday things. Very nice. The crew loved it. Yep. Though the crew did the shots out of the Christmas glasses. Yeah. And they were like, come on. I'm like, well, I had done one the other night at the Harbor Inn and I was still feeling pretty hard, but I'm like, all right, I will. And now this got sent from Gary in Georgia. I'm going to taste the ranch. This is an Ohio-made ranch called Hartville Kitchen, but I already opened it. I have not pre-tasted it. I will not lie about that. Ohio-made ranch. It's really good. It's tangy, too. And normally, I go away from the tang. Yeah. This lady, Grandma Sarah, she hit it. She's the best since 1966. I'm a year older than this dressing. Hartville Kitchen. And it just said salad dressing, ranch. Very simple. I like it. It's on your team. Yeah. Salad. Yeah. Back when you didn't need all that flair. Here's your bottle of dressing. Now be quiet. Oh, she sent this too. Microwave Amish popcorn. Now you got to put a clause there and say Mennonite. What? How many old school, the real Amish, the old school, I shouldn't say real, but the old school ones, they don't have microwaves. The Mennonites, maybe. Butter Amish country ladyfinger microwave popcorn. Because there's a shit ton of Amish in Ohio, as in my state, Missouri, as in Pennsylvania. Did you see any? No, I didn't see any this time. I saw the signs, the buggy and all that. It snowed like crazy on Saturday. And, of course, the weather apps, none of them predicted it. But as soon as it happened, 70% chance of snow. Yeah, it's happening. I could run those apps. Just look outside, whatever's happening, go, oh, it's going to be a little cloudy right now. Travis in Cincinnati brought back, I just love little liquor bottles. It's like, well, it's nice to know you have them. Like, if shit goes down and... I'm not going to tell you how to get these through security, okay? But there are ways. No, I flagged myself if anybody from TSA listens to this. But it's nice to know if you get stuck somewhere, like on a runway. Sometimes in New York, they'll go, we're 57th for takeoff. And you're like, what? I'm going to be here for hours. Every once in a while, if those flight attendants are seated. I do have a friend who does that, but I'm not going to flag him. No. He's a drummer, and he goes around a lot, and sometimes he needs to have that good feeling, too, inside. That it's called being prepared and knowing you can take care of yourself. The Festivus came from Kate, whose real name is Kathleen, which should have been my name. I won't even go into all that. And Gina from Cleveland. That's where I got the tiny liquor. Nope, they gave the Festivus, yeah. And, and the Great Lakes beer. We had that backstage, too. And the share shirt. The share shirt, yeah. Adorable. And then this lady made this termite. Look at this. She learned how to carve during COVID. Whoa. Oh, no. Termite down. I'll save it for next week. Termites down. I can't get out behind all this equipment. If there's a fire or an emergency, I'm going to die right here. I'm giving this one to my mom. I appreciate Mary, and Jesse. They came to Cincinnati. It's Be Happy peanut butter, milk chocolate, toffee, and Rice Krispies. Whoa. I can't do it. But you know who's going to be so excited? My mom. It's peanut butter, milk chocolate, toffee, and Rice Krispies. Oh, wow. Maybe I'll try it. that's made from their hometown. It looks like Zionsville. Yeah. Mary, not like the group Mary. Mary, and Jesse. Oh, wow. They started following me during Last Comic Standing. That was a long time ago. That was in 2004.
Really?
Yep.
You're old.
I am old. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then, yeah, I already did that one. Okay, so we're done with all that. Thank you for everything that came backstage. Crowds were wonderful. Sold almost all the tickets. I didn't sell everything in Warren, but it's like $27.50. It's a baby arena. Yeah, I was shocked. I'm like, wow, look at this place kind of in a nondescript area.
The Packard guy did it.
Yeah, the guy who invented the car, the Packard.
Yeah.
Yes, he did it.
It was pretty cool looking.
Yeah. It was great. And the crew was on top of it. Both crews this weekend on top of it. Sound check took 5 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. Sound was great. Lights were great. Everything was great. And the crowds were great. Warren, Ohio was like frenetically great. Cincy was normal great. Warren, I felt like, did everybody get a little cocaine on the way in here? I mean, it was kind of, it was wonderful, but it was a little nuts. And Amish country popcorn seasoning from the Amish people.
We're going to try that.
There's some to try. I'll try for the next. I'll see what it tastes like on the next podcast. All right. Queen news. Jeff Bezos.
Boo.
Well, we can boo him all we want, but he did give who? Miss Dolly Parton $100 million.
What?
Yep.
Awesome.
Now I got to pretend that I like him. Yeah. But here's the other thing, Jeff. Quit sending me shit from Amazon that's a deck of cards, size of the deck of cards in the box, the size of my Mercury. Like, what is the waste that goes on? And I'm not even like a person who pays attention to that shit. Like, well, what about our plastic usage? I don't know. I don't know anything about all that. Leave that to my friend Amy Aquino. She'll tell you all about it on her Instagram. But like, I don't notice, I don't know, a box of, what I do notice the amount of waste though. Like this, well, there's also, don't you want to make proper money? Like, why do your boxes not fit what arrives on the doorstep? Because sometimes I'll get home from the road and go, oh shit, like I got the cat kid, but she'll bring stuff around back or whatever. But I'm like, look at, what did I order? And it's a box the size of my car, and you open it up and I'm like, oh right, that ornament of Stevie Nicks. It's something that tiny where you're like, this is, I don't know, what would you call that? A supply chain person? Like, who isn't saying packaging? Is that a major in college?
No.
You know, George Wallace, my friend, the comedian, he was a transportation major. I didn't even know you could do that.
No.
Yeah. George was that guy. He had to figure out how to run trains everywhere and all that kind of shit. Sadly, for transportation, Mr. George Wallace found stand-up comedy and quit. Okay, so why do we like Jeff Bezos? Yeah. Well, because I do enjoy Amazon's quickness, and there's. Oh, right. Somebody has a comedy special. The other reason I like Jeff, because my special will be on Amazon Prime. And it's an original. I'm sure he is unaware of that. I do not think Jeff is keeping up. Maybe the wife. She seems fun. Or a girlfriend or whatever that lady is. I don't know. They were in the interview. But I'm just saying a packaging tip. I'm not throwing them under a bus. And I live very close to an Amazon distribution center. And it is a miracle. Sometimes I can order shit and it's here in like 3 hours. It's amazing. But he could save himself a lot of money. Right. Just get a packaging expert. Go to one of those fancy schools where the smart people are. Jeff Bezos named Dolly Parton the latest recipient of the Courage and Civility Award, handing the music legend $100 million to direct to any charity she chooses.
That is great.
Imagine how far that imagination library could go with $100 million. It could go, well, it's already kind of global, but it could go super global. You could buy a publisher. And she could be done. Yeah. She gives with her heart. What she's done for kids and literacy and so many other things is incredible. Bezos, 58, said in a video posted on social media, I always said I try to put my money where your heart is, and I think you do the same thing, Parton said in the video. I will do my best to do good things with the money. Yeah. She's well, we already know about the Imagination Library, so I won't go into that. He also gave $100 million another time to Chef Jose Andres, whose World Central Kitchen feeds people in stricken areas around the world.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's the fourth richest person in the world at $139 billion. he has increased his philanthropic efforts since stepping down as Amazon's chief executive officer last year. So he's not in charge anymore. I guess I did know that, but I forgot. But he could make a call. I'm sure he still has stock. Save some money.
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to go with, Jeff. Small boxes, medium boxes, large boxes, extra large. Okay? You go where they act like we're at UPS. And when the product drops out of the warehouse onto the belt, I'm probably making this easier than it might take to implement. It goes in a small, medium, large, or extra large. And then it goes on that belt. And it goes in a box the appropriate size. Just saying. He's also interested in acquiring the Washington Commanders, Lewis's football team, who I have to struggle through and watch tonight. He's so excited. And they're playing the Eagles, and I really think the Eagles are just going to crush them. And I'm like, Lou, this is a disappointing Monday Night Football game for those of us who don't have a dog in this fight, especially because your Commanders don't command shit. They're terrible. Which, by the way, I brought Tommy Salami's candle back out because I didn't trade him. Is he over here?
You got 2.
Well, I wanted to dump Tom, honestly. So it's not like it's just there was no one else to pick up. So I kept him, and he got me 18 points. Good boy, Tommy. I figured on the international stage, he will not want to be embarrassed because international people will be watching. It's a global experience. And Tommy showed up. Yeah.
So he's on the team still.
He's still on my team.
Did you win?
I did not win, but I got a lot of points.
You didn't win fantasy?
Well, this week I won, but I mean, I'm like in 6th place. I'm doing terrible. Sadly, Lewis is in 1st place, and I honestly, I don't care for it. I don't like it.
We're only halfway through the season.
It's going to be a long season. My team drifts out about mid-season. They're like, what are we doing? We're not really winning, like kind of. And then they're mad at me. Why do you still have Claypool? He's terrible. I'm like, because I've been busy. He wants to buy the Commanders. Lewis desperately needs someone to buy that team that can get their shit together. Yeah. They're hard to bet on, except they're easy to bet on in the family pool because that's just a pick 'em. You just pick the winners. But when it comes to points and stuff, no. Yeah. Okay, we're moving on. Update! Mattress Mack won! Yeah! $75 million. Some say $76 million. I've read both. And then he brought wheelbarrows, and he had the cash in the wheelbarrow, taking it to his private jet. He's just a wonderful person. What are the odds that he knew this? He put $3 million on the Astros at 10-1 on Caesar Sportsbook mobile app, but he had to divvy it up because they won't all take that. I wouldn't either. I don't want to pay that out. They just wrote the biggest check in sports betting history for $30 million. That was Caesars, and then he spread it all out. And then all these people in Houston get to benefit from it. It's just wonderful. He won $70 million, and yet he didn't make a dime because he gives it all back through the promotion stuff. Now he has to cover $74 million worth of mattress sales plus expenses. This is what he offered, in case I've never made this clear. He was offering gallery customers double their money back if they spent more than $3,000 on mattresses, and the Astros won the Fall Classic. He sold so much furniture that he had to change the promotion to just a simple refund. So you're going to get your money back. Double. Yep. He had to cut off the promotion prematurely with 4 days to go before Game 1 after hitting $74 million in sales. With $11 million left over, he says he has about $1 million in credit card fees alone. He also has to pay his sales staff, their commissions, and throw a few catered refund parties.
I love it.
He's throwing parties.
That was great.
On top of all that, he chartered a jet to place a few bets in Iowa and Las Vegas and bought 400 tickets to the World Series games in Houston. After considering all of his costs to hold the promotion and get $10 million down on the World Series, he believes he will break even.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
In a world full of people doing not good things, it's refreshing every now and then to see somebody who's actually having fun too. He is kind of Robin Hood. He's robbing from the casinos. I'm sure they see him coming and go, "Do not take his bet. Just tell him we're closed. No. Tell him we're closed. Update." Oh, this is so fascinating. By the next Pubcast, we will know. So first of all, Elizabeth Holmes was denied a new trial. She was saying,
Right.
that a guy who testified on behalf of the government had come to her house in the summer and said the government kind of pressured him to do that. But then yet he said, look, I didn't really say it the way she's saying it. And I think she should be in trouble and go, she shouldn't get another trial. So they didn't give her another trial.
So full of shit.
I'm sorry, forgot to do my Elizabeth voice. I'm not really on top of it this morning. Probably because I haven't eaten breakfast and I went right for a Festivus.
Nice.
Well, so when you get convicted of this kind of shit, your team can submit all kinds of paperwork and letters and stuff saying why you shouldn't get the full sentencing. And then the prosecution can send all their stuff, victim impact statements, and then the judge will review them all and a decision will be made. She's asking for 18 months home confinement because she's pregnant again. I mean, anybody that would have kids to just save their own ass, and I really think that's what happened. Some lady on Twitter wrote a great thing going, they keep saying she failed. No. It never existed. There's a difference between I made the machine, it works, and then it broke.
Yep.
Then, well, different story.
I'm a
But
sociopath.
yeah, instead of I'm a sociopath and I went on CNBC and MSNBC and all the money channels or whatever, CNBC. Yeah, I'm on the cover of magazine, Fortune and all the other ones, and just going, I have a blood machine that can do all this. You do not. You do not. That is a lie. Right. Wouldn't it be cool? I could think of all kinds of shit would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool if one of those Amazon boxes that I could fit into could fly? Right. But I'm not going around going, you're not going to believe this. If you just give me $100 million, that thing's about ready to fly. Right. I feel it. Yep. No, it's not. It doesn't even exist. No. So anyway, she will be sentenced on November 16th, I believe. And can't come soon enough. The prosecution is going they want 15 years. She wants 18 months in her house with a thing on. She also claims that her dog, who she claimed was a wolf, it was just a husky. Everything with the sociopaths has to be so grandiose and narcissistic. It's so gross. She now claims it was killed by a cougar. Oh. Right. It can't just be, it got run over, I let it out. No. Oh, shit. And then the FedEx truck, boing. Right. Nope. So we'll see. Here's my bet. Okay. Let's place bets, termites. What do we all think?
Over under.
I say 7 years. I don't know why, but her aunt, who had given her money, wrote a victim impact statement on behalf of the prosecution. So that will erase some of the ones that says she's a great sister and all this bullshit. Yes. There's some aunt out there super pissed. Yep. Yeah. I say she'll get 7 years. She'll serve 5.
10. She'll get
10. 10, you say. Paddle says 10.
She'll serve 10 because I'll follow her around.
Update. Banksy murals in Ukraine.
No way.
Yep.
Awesome.
He's got a gymnast like doing a thing. I don't know, upside down splits is what I would call it. Huh. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, how does nobody ever notice? I want to see what the man looks like. Or woman. I think it's a dude, though. I think that's been established. You don't notice there's some guy in a blown out building painting an awesome painting? And be, hey, and I understand they're busy, but the war-torn country, after a series of murals appeared in the town of Borodinka near Kiev. One mural depicted a man resembling Vladimir Putin being thrown to the floor during a judo match with a young boy. I like it. And then the other one's the gymnast.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I want somebody to take his picture. I mean, if he wants to stay completely anonymous, I guess you get that right. But you're also painting shit outside in front of the whole world, and I don't know how nobody's ever taken a picture. So,
they're at war.
Yeah, but he's done it all over the place. I mean, you would think you'd notice. I don't know. Update! Speaking of Tom Brady, oh my God, guess who's trolling him? Gisele. She bought a mansion across the cove.
No.
Yep, he can see it from his house. It's the ultimate troll. But they do have kids together, so maybe they're like, well, you can just get in the kayak and paddle over to Dad's house. Gisele bought an 11. Yeah, but then I just think there's sharks and shit there. $11.5 million she paid for this shindig. See, because initially she had bought this Art Deco thing in the town of Surfside for $1.25 million. I'm like, Gisele ain't staying in $1.25 million. That was just, that was like her corporate housing while she really was carrying this out. Mm-hmm. She's also been photographed with some guy, her jiu-jitsu teacher. I can't say it. Let's call it kung fu. Let's call it judo.
Something you can say.
I could say judo. I'm like, really, Gisele? You're gonna go out with your judo teacher? What? No, that's not gonna last. No. He's handsome. I saw the picture, but
and he's home.
Yeah, right. He's home, and he's not a global star. No. They're gonna make co-parenting plans with the kids, but yeah, you can see it. I saw the drone picture. It's across the thing. Tommy, you better start winning. The children update. God, the children. What is it going to take for all art museums to send emails to one another and go, hey, if you see anybody under the age of, if they'd say they look under 40 coming in here with soup, stop them. Soup. They did it again. Pea soup over Vincent van Gogh Roman masterpiece in Rome. That's the latest one. His painting, The Sower. I don't know that I know that, but whatever. It's from 1888. Depicting a farmer sowing his land under a dominant. Oh, yeah, because this was in the Van Gogh exhibition thing.
I thought it was like making clothes.
Sower? No. No.
It's your machine.
No, paddles. It's the climate, kids, again. But, most of these video taken from inside the museum crowded shows two young women throwing a liquid substance on the painting. And then the third woman, they always glue themselves to the wall or the painting. And then they start screaming. And I mean, you know what? I think you should destroy art to make your point. No, I don't. Sorry. For the children. I disagree. There's other ways. Go put yourself on a train track. Yeah. Something where you're not going to destroy something. You might delay the train. I don't know. This just seems like the stunt backfired from some onlookers. It totally defeats the purpose. I'm really for the cause in itself, but not the action they took. Not at all. I agree. Attacking art is an ignorable act that must be firmly condemned. Culture, which is the basis of our identity, must be defended and protected and clearly not used as a megaphone for other forms of protest. True. That's one thing that happened this week. And then the next one, here's the other thing. Anybody that looks under 40, I'm searching your entire being to see if you have glue on you, because they're gluing themselves to everything. And what kind of glue? Are you brave enough to use Gorilla Glue? Because I've just gotten that on an index finger, and it took like a miracle to get it off. And then your fingers get stuck together. Now, if it's Elmer's glue, we all know you can get that right off, which you're not gonna. Roll it off. But paper barely sticks to paper with Elmer's. It's all wet and shit, but. They glued their hands to Goya paintings in Spain's Prado Museum. I don't know who Francisco de Goya is, but it's in the Madrid Prado Museum. My friend Bob sent me this one. I hadn't heard about this one because he texted me, the children have done it again. I'm like, what did the children do now? And he's like, and then he sent me the name of the museum. I'm like, I don't know that. I don't know the Prado. Not Prada, Prado. The painting was not damaged, and they painted graffiti all over the wall. They fixed that, and then there's a third one, the Scream. The famous one. They tried to ruin that one too. Norwegian police said two climate activists tried to glue themselves to Edvard Munch's, and I'm saying that I never knew it was Edvard with a V. I don't either. His 1893 painting, The Scream. No harm was done to the painting, thank God. And then they go on about Norway, their oil and gas, and I don't know. The kids who did the Dutch museum, when they went after Vermeer's girl with a pearl earring, they got 2 months in prison. I just don't understand security.
No.
Whatever the children are going to do, they're going to do. But it's your job. I don't know how you get into any art museum with soup. I don't
know.
I don't either.
They should ban liquids. I thought you could have liquids.
Liquids. Yeah. Guess what? No, we have a cafeteria deal, bar deal over there.
No food and drink.
You can have your food and drink over there.
It is food and drink.
Right. Yeah. They shouldn't be able to have any of it.
No.
Especially now that we know this is all out. Update.
Wow, it's a big one.
Animal dealer Mimi Erotic. Well, we talked about the Tiger Queen. She has surrendered after 5 weeks on the run.
Where? Cleveland.
She's from Texas. She turned herself in California to face federal charges for allegedly transporting and selling an endangered Jaguar cub. Yeah. Now my friend happens to know a lot about these dealings, and she said that the Jaguar cubs are the most dangerous because they're the most unpredictable. Yeah. She's like, it's nothing to mess around with. I'm like,
Maybe something happened, and that's why she had to turn herself in.
I don't know. It says she surrendered after 5 weeks on the lam. They actually wrote on the lam. Who wrote this? My dad. And appeared before a judge at a district court in Riverside, California. I'll be playing there very soon. Plug for me. Woo, look at that free plug. Yes, I'll be out in Riverside, California. And El Cajon, California. Yeah, the week after next? I don't know. Week after Thanksgiving. Anyway. Meyer pleaded not guilty and was released on $15,000 bond. But before she left the courtroom, she was arrested again by U.S. Marshals on a bench warrant out from Texas. Last month, she was charged in connection with the alleged plot to take the cub named Amador from Texas to California and sell it to a local man for $30,000. Buyer Abdul Rahman initially took custody of the Jaguar, but changed his mind, probably after it leapt onto his chandelier and started going, come home and see. I mean, I've seen regular cats do shit where you're like, oh my God, get off that lamp. And they just sit there and go, meow, meow. I mean, something with this kind of power. It is awfully cute. I see why you'd want it. But Rama did not know how to take care of the Jaguar. Quickly became dissatisfied and wanted to get rid of it by selling it to someone else. What was concerned, he was lose money in the transaction. The cub was later found at a wildlife sanctuary called Lions, Tigers, and Bears.
Oh, my.
They forgot the oh my.
I know they should have it.
I know.
Great merch.
They found images of the cub on social media and traced its origin to Meyer, who was charged with interstate transportation of endangered species in the course of commercial activity, interstate sale of an endangered species, trafficking in prohibited wildlife species, and trafficking endangered species. He was also charged in the case, the guy. Well, yeah, you know what you're buying. Well, you know what you're buying is illegal. Exactly. But it's probably presented to them like, yeah, it's no big deal. Well, every Friday I come out and deliver a bunch of Jaguars, no problem.
Fine.
Yeah. She disappeared on October 5th. And then she surrendered now. She also made headlines in 2016 when they discovered a large male tiger, 3 tiger cubs, along with a monkey, a skunk, a fox, and a cougar in Cypress, Texas, in her home. Well, right, when her teenage kid was there. Remember that? Uh-huh. She had permits for the tigers, but not for the skunks and foxes. Well, they're the least of our problems.
Skunks.
There's skunks all over, over in the woods over here, and I see them all the time. And thankfully, none of the cats. My neighbor's dog did get hit pretty bad though by a skunk. Yeah, it is a mess. The foxes don't do anything. They keep to themselves. She said her pet monkeys were vicious and that one of them attacks people. Now, see, that contradicts our story last week when the monkey went to the man's funeral and tried to give him CPR.
Yeah, maybe they're unpredictable.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll let you know whatever happens. Yeah. Whatever happens to Mimi, the Tiger Queen. Well, she's really the Jaguar Queen, but she did have tigers too. Yeah. If I was going to get one, I would get a Black Panther.
What?
Now, I don't know. It was always the first thing I went to at the St. Louis Zoo as a kid. I was like, I got to see the Panther. I got to see the Panther. Because we had a black one at the St. Louis Zoo. Because it's the sleekest looking thing I've ever seen. Yeah. It's just magical. But anyway. All right. This one, this is just an update, and I'm not going to read all these articles down to it. But Meta, the stock has fallen 70%, and they've fired a shit ton of people. Then I read a review of Meta Quest. That's the headset. This is the world he's trying to get us in. They already have one headset. This is the newer one, Meta Quest Pro. Now, the review I read was so technical and so boring. Unless you're a super nerd, you probably wouldn't even. I only understood maybe 50% of it. But this man is very, very upset. And I think my nerd friends would be like, this is a piece of shit. And it's $1,500. No one's going to play in your... Miss Pac-Man's more real. And so Zuckerberg is losing his mind, and he will not give up this dream. This may be the one that just drags him down into an abyss, because he won't give it up. And you've named the whole company. It's not Facebook anymore. It's all Meta. The only thing that's probably saving his ass is Instagram. Nobody's mad about Instagram. Everybody's still posting. But TikTok's dominating that. The children they're like, we've created this whole society of addicts where you get a little bit and you're like, oh, beagle picture. No. Oh, video, beagles, baby beagles, video. And then it just becomes like this crack in your head. He cut 11,000 jobs. He's also, they're very worried in New York City about his office space, because those people are going to get cut. And then what about all this? He rented all this stuff because he really thought this is where every once in a while a super nerd, like with a cape. I actually think he's an avatar. I'm not sure he's actually a real person. Truly. They just misjudge their product because they don't know people. Right. Not everyone is going to sit around with a headset on and go into, he was saying it's going to be for work meetings and people won't need to travel anymore. And yeah, that we're all going to go get this thing. $1,500. Right. If it was 50, maybe. A hundo, maybe. 1,500? No. So Zuckerberg, it's just been a terrible week for him. And then Elon, oh my God. Elon has owned Twitter for, 6 days now. Yeah. I feel it is a dumpster fire. And I said on stage, and I mean it, I feel like what I think the villagers of London felt when Henry VIII got syphilis. He just started announcing shit that was crazy. Like, what do you mean he's chopping off his wife's head tomorrow? Really? Wait, he said we can't hunt? How are we supposed to eat? What? We all have to gather at 8 o'clock in the town square to do what? It's just crazy. Because he started out with the blue check mark. You're all going to have to pay $8, but then anybody can get one. And that's what we talked about that before on this, where I'm like, fine, I'll give a billionaire $8. Is this what you really want? I don't. But then, of all people in the whole globe, Valerie Bertinelli, who I love, the ultimate troll, she just said, instead of Valerie Bertinelli, it said Elon Musk. And then she was just posting videos from California that were lovely. Hi, here's the sunset. Hope you're all doing well. I didn't know she could be that funny. And it was also crazy, wickedly smart. And then all these other people started to do it. And then he got mad and said, you can't be pretenders. Then the next day, there's going to be a gray check mark. And then he was like, nope, we're not doing that either. And then the following day, nope, we're not going to let people pay for check marks. But they had already had the thing, and people already did pay. Some people paid. I figured they're going to send me a note and tell me, you got to pay or you're losing it. Right. And I never got I just didn't do anything. Right. And I want to stay because I like it, and I can talk to everybody that comes to the show. I talk to a lot of people through Twitter, and I'll stay. But it's a Viking hold. It is a Viking hold. I don't think, none of this makes sense. $44 billion he has spent. That Twitter does not make money. No. So is it your ego? Yes. People say, well, it's a political force. Not really. It's an echo chamber. Right. The people write the I love Trump shit and the people I hate Trump shit. Nobody's switching teams on that. It's not influencing, I don't think. Maybe there's proof that it is. He also then, this is where I really laughed. He's telling the children they have to come back to work. And I think we know their answer to that. Yeah, no, we're not. He also canceled days of rest. What does that mean? I don't know. All I know is my generation didn't demand enough.
What is days
Clear.
of rest?
Twitter's days of rest for employees are now a thing of the past under the new ownership of Elon Musk, according to reports. Twitter began offering, I think this is nice, one company-wide paid rest day per month.
Per month?
Yeah, one a month.
You get a long weekend every month?
That's great.
Fucking bananas.
It is bananas, but it's great. People are happier. Most people do not want to work that hard. No. That's why I could never run for president, because I'd always, everybody that always runs for president, they always go, America, we're number one. We need to stay number one. Why? How about 4? There's nothing wrong with Italy.
We're number
4. We're number 4. I mean, to stay number one, you have to work ridiculous hours. People aren't happy when they're working that much.
No.
Not most people. Workaholics, fine, they're still allowed to. You can work your ass off if you want it. It's how you get pleasure, go for it. But for the rest of us, wouldn't it be great to have a 4-day weekend of your choosing every month?
Yes.
And then you could go do all your chores when people aren't doing them. You get to lead the life of a comedian for a Monday. Go do your shit on Monday. That was during the early days of the pandemic. The policy was meant to help reduce burnout among staffers. He's eliminated the days of rest from the calendar sources. He's going to overhaul the workplace. He's fired a shit ton of people. They've reached out to Twitter. Tweet him. He'll tweet you back. He tweets all the time. It's constant. It's also bizarre. Like, you own all these other companies and you pay. It's a toy for him. He's on it a lot. More than me, and I actually have things to post that matter. Well, I mean, his are weird. They're emojis, and we're supposed to interpret them. And I'm like, the king's gone crazy. We don't have any penicillin. The wound on his leg is bleeding. It's so bizarre. I'll probably get kicked off. He won't hear me. He's not listening to me. He probably has Google alerts, though, on every podcast. They're going to lay off half of Twitter. Yeah, how do you spell syphilis? S? Or is there a silent P like psychology?
Oh my God.
He's going to end the remote work policy and require employees who aren't laid off to report to the company's offices. The billionaire had previously enacted a strict return to office policy at his electric car firm Tesla. That's different. If you work at Tesla, you're probably like an engineer or science-based. Yeah. Twitter, or marketing, but Twitter is more the social app kids, the Silicon Valley kids. They'll just tell you to go fuck yourself in a hot minute. Totally. Yeah. Yep. They'll go over to the places that let them work remotely. We've talked about those places on his Pubcast. For the children, if you're out there listening, check out Google.
You're recruiting for them.
I'll recruit. Yeah. They were told to prepare for 24/7 earlier this week to hit Musk's Friday deadline to revamp the Twitter Blue service, and then it never even happened. They were going to charge $8 a month for the verification, then that didn't happen. I don't know. If I was one of the children, I'd stay. I'd stay as long as I could. Right. Or start planning some exit thing. Yes. I don't know. I mean, this is just going to get crazier. I don't see this getting any better. Because he has a fever now. He's got the fever. He's got a fever. Moving on out of updates. Holy shit! They found it. This is great. Long lost Stradivarius violin stolen by Nazis during Second World War, found in France.
What violin?
Stradivarius.
Stradivarius?
Stradivarius. It's famous. You never heard of these? Paddles. As a Canadian with an excellent education, I'm disappointed if you've never heard of a Stradivarius.
Sounds like a clown.
Stradivarius?
Yes.
I think it sounds like a Greek thing.
No.
Yeah.
It's a weather format.
The famed Lauterbach Stradivarius has been found in France after being stolen from a museum in 1944, because they have the reputation of being the best violins in the world. You know what, Paddles? Your problem is you didn't have 60 Minutes in Canada. 60 Minutes went over this many, many times.
No, we had the nightly news. That was
No, there's a program, I found it on YouTube. It's like 60 Minutes, but better. It's a Canadian show. It's kind of like Dateline meets 60 Minutes. There's only 650 Stradivarius violins in the world. That's it.
650?
650 left. Because they were built in the 17th and 18th centuries. Okay. By the family, the Italian family, Stradivaria.
It's the fifth estate.
The fifth estate.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like Dateline meets 60 Minutes meets, I don't know, 2020. Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah. The people that were on it were smart.
It's Fridays, though.
It's on Fridays. It's clearly for old people. That's fine. I'll take that insult. It's fine. The instruments are famed for, above all else, their sonic qualities, which is reflected in their high price points and those lucky enough to play and own these historic strings. Although there have been tests where they've done them and they used other high-quality violins and people can't really tell the difference. It's just about, it's a work of art, basically, and it still works. But the Nazis stole one from a museum in France. There was one specific one called the Lauterbach Stradivarius, which was looted by the Nazis occupiers in Poland from the National Museum in Warsaw. 78 years later, this long-lost looted instrument has now been found.
The
Lauterbach.
Lauterbach.
Yeah. They're going to...
Yeah.
But they're not really saying... this one was made by the famous guy, Antonio Stradivari, arguably the most famous of the Italian instrument-making family in 1719.
That's old.
And they still work. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's wood.
It had a handful of owners, but then it had ended up in the museum. It was stolen by the Nazis. They stole a lot of shit. Oh, he was very handsome. There's a picture of him. I don't really understand. The violin has possibly seen... I'm going to have to read and get more back to figure out how they actually found it. This article is not really saying... I'll read the rest of this one later.
It's a super big deal.
I'll put this aside. It is a big deal.
Right. Obviously.
Every time there's a child genius on 60 Minutes, he's playing a Stradivarius. And I'm like, where did he get that?
A Lauterbach Stradivarius.
A Lauterbach.
Yeah. It's a car or a weather system.
Holy shit! They found it. Ancient Christian monastery found off the coast of United Arab Emirates could be 1,400 years old, predating Islam.
Whoa.
An ancient Christian monastery, possibly dating far back as a year before Islam spread across the Arabian Peninsula, has been discovered off an island off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The monastery on Sinaya Island, part of the sand dune sheikdom of al-Quwan, sheds new light on the history of early Christianity along the shores of the Persian Gulf. It marks the second such monastery found in the Emirates, dating back 1,400 years, long before its desert expanses gave birth to a thriving oil industry that had led a united nation home to the high-rise towers of Abu Dhabi and Dubai. It is very cool. There's a picture of it. We'll put it in the show notes. Just to think that they were already there that long ago. The fact that something similar was happening here 1,000 years ago is really remarkable and a story that deserves to be told. It's huge, too. It's 30 miles northeast of Dubai along the coast of the Persian Gulf. So there you go. Go look at the pictures. It is awesome. Why? Because of drought. That's how they're finding. We're finding all this shit because of droughts. Which, I mean, that's a good thing. But, okay, we're moving on to news.
Okay.
What freak did this? Serial killer sinister clown painting fetches over $12,000 at auction. Guess who painted it?
What?
Who was the serial killer?
$12,000.
Who was the serial killer that loved clowns?
Oh, Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Pogo the Clown. Oh. First of all,
That's freaky.
I hate clowns. And one of the reasons I love Joan Rivers more than I love Joan Rivers for her jokes was she wrote a whole book, I Hate Clowns. And I agreed with every single word of it. But then you seem like a child hater. I don't hate children. I hate clowns because I feel like they beg for laughter. And you shouldn't have to beg. You're either funny or you're not. This whole, they won't go out of your section like at the Ringling Brothers. I hated it when they would come to my section. I'm like, no. Yeah. You're trying to trick me with some balloon animal. But anyway, some freak bought this. Killer clown John Wayne Gacy, one of America's most notorious serial killers of the 1970s, developed a penchant for painting when he was locked up on death row for 14 years. Oh my God, he painted at least 2,000 paintings. Began selling them with the help of a lawyer and an outside collector named Andy Matisse until he received his lethal injection in 1994. And on October 31st, an auction house in Philadelphia sold the self-referential painting Pogo the Clown, which it claims is a Gacy original, for $12,800. What do you mean claims?
Yeah.
Are there fake ones? I
Rip off
doubt it.
Macy's.
Wow.
It's an original.
He had a side hustle in real life. He was Pogo the Clown. He went to children's parties.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps his actual clown costumes weren't as terrifying as the paintings he made of them, but it's astounding that no one clocked Gacy as at least a bit off beforehand. Yeah. Why would you want this in your house? I mean, I just can't.
Bad juju.
Huh?
Bad juju.
It is bad juju. Yeah, you don't want that. You're just bringing in bad things? Nay.
No.
All right, this is going to be a little, well, I'll do an easy one. Then this is a hard one, but I've totally dumbed it down for all termites that don't want to be bored. The next story. This is an easy story, though.
Okay.
Again, I don't know what you do with these things, but somebody spent $1.53 million on Babe Ruth baseball glove. Which, by the way,
You gotta have a lot of money.
and guess what? A baseball glove, St. Louis Browns. So that before the St. Louis Cardinals were the St. Louis Cardinals, our team was the St. Louis Browns, a.k.a. the Brownies. My dad used to take the streetcar down to see the St. Louis Browns, and you didn't even have to pay. You could just look through the slats in the outfield, and he thought he was really cool.
Brownies in Canada are baby girl guides.
Brownies in America are baby girl guides, too. Except we're Girl Scouts, so they're baby Girl Scouts. I was a brownie. I enjoyed brownies. I did not enjoy Girl Scouts. I quit. As soon as they made me sell shit, I'm like, I'm out, man. I'm not a salesman. No. I mean, these cookies kind of sell themselves, but I still don't like standing here like a peasant begging people outside of Target. A baseball glove personally donated to Babe Ruth by Babe Ruth to St. Louis Browns third baseman Jimmy Austin, sold Saturday at the 19th Annual Louisville Slugger Museum. Where's that? In Louisville, Kentucky. Largest baseball bat in the world. Every time I drive by it makes me smile. It's something we still make in this country. Right. We're still producing baseball bats. At least we're making bats. Well, I mean, some of them. I don't know about all of them, but I know they're making bats. So that's good. So $1.3 million. Now, when you see this glove, to me, it looks like an oven mitt. They were not good. No, these people should be given triple their awards for being able to catch a ball with this piece of shit and a ball that's coming 100 miles at your face, and you go, hold on, let me get my oven mitt and protect myself. The previous record was $387,000 for a Lou Gehrig glove sold at Sotheby's in 1999. In 2013, a Jackie Robinson glove believed to have been used in the 55 and 56 World Series sold for $373,000. This glove was manufactured circa 1927. And then Babe Ruth, they have an auto recording of him saying he gave it to the guy. So it's real. And he signed it. Actually, now that I look at even more than an oven mitt, it looks like a giant gardening glove. Like it has that texture of a gardening glove. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, somebody got it. I don't know what you do with it. Put it in again. I just don't have that many people coming over to my house to go, hey, look at the thing.
More people should see it.
Yeah, it should be in a museum. It should be at the Baseball Hall of Fame, I think. I don't know what is the matter with people. I really don't. Speaking of crazies, who's going to buy the T-Rex skull unearthed in South Dakota? Whose house is big enough? Just in this room, this upstairs is just for the kids, really. And I'm imagining it if we put it, somehow I figured out how to put a T-Rex skull in here. That's it for the kids watching shows. It's over. Your family room is gone. I mean, who's got room for this? It's a 200-pound skull fossil named Maximus. It's being auctioned off December 9th in New York City. It was one unearthed in South Dakota. It's expected to sell. I don't know. I mean, now that I see the lady standing next to it, it's not that big, but it's big. I mean, sold by an owner who wishes to remain anonymous. It was excavated in 2021 in Harding County, South Dakota, where other T-Rex skeletons like Sue and Stan were found.
Of course.
It's the world capital for T-Rexes. Maybe that's why there's not so many people in South Dakota. Maybe the T-Rexes smashed them all. Just went out and ate them all.
Ate 'em up.
Most of the rest of this T-Rex remains were destroyed by erosion, but the experts said the skull was a major find. When you think about it, the more people can fit a skull in their home than people who could fit a full dinosaur. Well, right. It's because it shouldn't be in your house.
Right.
A house is for living. It's not for having a full dinosaur skeleton.
No.
Yeah. It's $76 million. 76 million years old.
It should be in the Smithsonian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know what caused the death, but we can tell it did have a major battle in its lifetime. $15 million. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what's wrong with people.
No.
I get why you'd think it was cool, but here's something. This is bad. This is not good. But it's going to be a thing, so we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
Monster mom Casey Anthony breaks silence about daughter's death in new docuseries.
Come on.
I'm not kidding. It's Peacock.
But
The network.
Is she telling the truth?
No, she's not telling it. She's never told the truth a minute in her goddamn life.
Exactly.
No.
So why give her money?
I would not give her money, and I would not give her the opportunity to have a pulpit to redo your image of not doing what we all know you had something to do with. I don't know what you did. I don't know how you did it.
But you did something.
When she took the cops to Universal Studios and said, "Oh, I still work here," and she never ever had worked there, you are a sociopath on a level of the impulsive behavior to get out of the trouble, and then finally the cops follow her and they go through, she went through office buildings. And then finally she was like, okay, I don't really work here. What did you think was going to be the end of that? Of course you're not.
That's insane.
I don't know. This thing, I'm very disappointed in Peacock.
Yeah.
They're trying to reshape her image. To do what? Right. She's never given an in-depth interview. Maybe because no one wants to hear it.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
We all know the story, but I'm trying to find where it says what Peacock did with it. They caught her in so many lies.
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but I know she's lying on a lot of levels. It's a Peacock series, which will stream from November 29th, starting then. But maybe they'll get enough public pressure. It's already started, saying no, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it. And this is a horrible executive decision.
Yes.
Whoever did it, all right, this just makes me laugh. It's not necessarily funny. But I think it's because I think of all the times in my world, all the times in my lifetime, I've gotten drunk with other comedians or whatever. I've never been so drunk that I woke up in someone else's house and bedroom and then woke up and went, not even, this is not a one-night stand. You just went to the wrong home. Like you have to be drunk on a level that I've never been, where I just like walked in. The Tyson Foods, it's a chicken people,
Right.
their CFO, John Tyson, arrested for entering stranger's house and passing out in her bedroom. I mean, who does this? Like, the house was unlocked and he just walked right in. The woman called the police about a potential burglary, said she found a male that she did not know was asleep in her bed. When the officer arrived, he found Tyson's clothing strewn on the floor and identified him by his wallet. He took off his clothes and jumped right in. Night-night. Night-night, termites. After the officer woke him up, he briefly sat up in bed but did not verbally respond and then laid back down and attempted to go back to sleep.
Wow.
The officer said there was an odor of intoxicants coming from Tyson's breath and body and that his movements were sluggish and uncoordinated. He was placed under arrest of criminal trespass and public intoxication. He was booked early Sunday and released that evening, according to the Washington County, Arkansas Sheriff's Department.
Wow.
He has an undergraduate degree in economics from Harvard.
Oh my God. I'm sure they're proud of him.
I expect this shit from University of Missouri grads. I expect this out of Oklahoma State. I expect this out of an Arkansas Razorback. But Harvard? Oh, and he's got an MBA from Stanford.
Oh, code of conduct.
Wow. They have pictures of him. I mean,
What does he drink? That's what
I don't know. They're not saying.
Or what doesn't he drink?
This is after, remember we read the other story, the chief operating officer bit the guy at the football game, bit his nose apart at the Arkansas. What is going on at this company? Jesus, imagine their Christmas parties. People are biting each other's noses off, going in wrong houses. I'll tell you what, though, these kind of stories make you always feel better about your own level of drinking. Iowa. Let's talk about the fact you might have one of the craziest, most prolific serial killers in the history of America.
What?
I know.
Iowa?
Iowa! And my friend Sarah, who's from Nebraska, was saying it's in a very rural part of Iowa, which, being from Missouri, I consider much of Iowa to be extremely rural.
Yes.
Because I've driven all over Iowa. And there are times where you just drive and it's just corn and corn and corn.
Which we're very thankful for.
Corn. I love their corn.
Corn.
Their corn. This is crazy. Police planning exhibit. I can't say it now. Why can't I say it?
Excavation.
Excavation. Yeah, I looked at all the letters and it just went crazy. Amid.
Way easier to say than the violin.
Stradivarius.
Stradivarius.
Stradivari.
Yeah.
I can't believe you never heard of that.
No. Violin, fiddle. That's it.
Violin fiddle. It's not a fiddle. I'm sure the Italian who made that would bash you in the face if you called it a fiddle. Even though they're pretty much the same. I know. They're going to evacuate the property amid new details of 2007 murder claims. Check this out. This is crazy.
2007.
Huh?
2007?
This is when, I'm going to tell you, his daughter spilled the beans. Okay. Now, this man's dead.
Oh, no.
Here's what's crazy. Once you get into rural Iowa, in order to become a prolific serial killer, you're going to have to do a lot of work because you're going to have to go get people.
Find people.
There's nobody left to kill. Once you kill your neighbor down the road, Iowa police are going to excavate land for the second time in decades after a woman claimed her father was a prolific serial killer who murdered up to 70 women and ordered his children to help them move the bodies.
What?
No. Hold on. The Fremont County Sheriff Office will soon be excavating a portion of the land in Thurman, Iowa, near where Donald Dean Studi, and his family lived. The action comes in the wake of Studi's daughter renewed claims that her father killed 50 to 70 young women before his death in 2013. His daughter, Lucy McKitty, previously told investigators about her father's alleged history for years, including in 2007, which prompted them to excavate a portion of the property. Lucy told us in 2007 when we went out there, and there was only one well on the property that we could see. We didn't realize that it was on the other people's property. So she was telling him we've been throwing the bodies down a well, and they went to the wrong well. Well, there's two wells, and they went to the one on his property, which would make sense. So far, we don't have dumb cops, and the excavation cost the county more than $300,000. So when we're talking rural Iowa, that's a lot of money for the county to be spending on.
Leads.
They're going to do a second excavation in the light of a new tip that led investigators to search land behind his property. Sheriff officers are also planning to meet with FBI and Iowa's Division of Criminal Investigation this week. Last week, the Des Moines Register reported about some of McKitty's conflicting claims surrounding her father.
Smart paper.
According to the report, McKitty told sheriff's deputies in 2021 that she had heard stories that there could be about 15 bodies buried near her father's home, but said she only knew of 5 personally. I know in a Newsweek piece, she described how her father had killed dozens of young women over the course of 30 years and enlisted his children to help bury the victims. I know where the bodies are buried. He would tell us we had to go to the well, and I knew what that meant. McKitty went on to describe how she always feared that he would kill me because I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. McKitty's claims in 2021 were similarly chilling, with details about how she watched her father and 2 others carry a body from the trunk of a vehicle and suspicion her dad sexually assaulted and killed a 15-year-old girl. This is what the Des Moines Register is reporting. McKitty told detectives multiple other stories. She has not responded to news multiple requests for comment and confirmation. Additionally, He did have a history of violence and run-in with the law, including threatening to kill relatives.
Oh.
Well, wouldn't he be fun at Thanksgiving?
Pass the salt.
However, Studi's other daughter, Susan, denied her sister's claim and rejected that she was ever ordered to help her father move a body. She went on to say she first learned about these claims when she spoke to her sister about a year ago. I'm 2 years older than Lucy, Susan told the news site. I think I would know if my father murdered. If my father murdered, yeah. I would know if my dad was a serial killer. He was not, and I want my father's name restored. She said he's not the man that Lucy makes him out to be. But hold on. Yeah. He was strict. Well, let's define that. Yeah. But he was a protective parent. Yeah, I was like, what does that have to do with anything? He was a protective parent who loved his children. A woman who answered the phone, they called Susan's phone number and she hung up. So, termites. We were going to stay on top of this. The Des Moines Register investigators, they told they don't have any proof other than a pair of cadaver dog alerts.
Well, that's a pretty big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's their only job.
Right.
These dogs, that's all their gig is.
Yeah.
He said the FBI began probing over a year ago, but has backed away in the last couple weeks. I'm not going to let it die. I'm not going to let that happen. We've got to go with Lucy. No matter if they say if it's true or say she's crazy or whatever, then we can say we have to look into it. We have no other choice. Somebody from Omaha would not say if their agency is involved. Okay, all right, Omaha, you be weird. You stay there and be weird. Mm-hmm.
Acting like the FBI.
Mm-hmm. Look at you, acting like you're Chicago. I'm kidding. Right, we're gonna stay on it.
Yeah.
He had to do a lot of work to find 50 people.
Right. But why would you just make that up?
Why would she make it up?
Yeah. Because they're going to have to act on it.
I don't know. I mean, maybe she's crazy.
Right. Maybe the other sister's got something to do with it.
I think maybe the other sister probably. I tend to believe the crazy one.
Who's in therapy?
Neither one of them, I'm sure, are in therapy. I'm going to believe Lucy. Even if she's a cuckoo nut job, nobody makes that up. No. Nobody comes out of that and says my dad was a serial. That's a very, very bizarre, and I think Susan doesn't want any of this shit coming out.
Right.
And then how culpable am I?
Right.
You know, it depends on how old you were, I guess. I don't know. All right, this one's a little hard, but we should do it.
Okay.
So, and termites, I'm going to make this so easy for you. So we all know about cryptocurrency. We've talked about that. If you want to buy cryptocurrency, you go to an exchange, very much like the New York Stock Exchange. These effects, a very simple speed class on crypto. I have bought mine. Well, I won't say it because then people think I'm advocating for it, and I'm not. Okay. Now, I also know none of this is protected, and it's completely crazy, and it's a gamble.
Which you love to do.
I love to gamble. Yeah, so whatever. In less than a week, Sam Bankman-Fried's $16 billion fortune collapsed with the collapse of the FTX exchange. Now, a lot of people may say, oh, this crypto is all bullshit. Yeah, whatever. Okay, even if it is all bullshit, that was what the arena was named after in Miami, where the Miami Heat play, the FTX. This thing was not, this is the one Tom Brady was all into. All these superstars, God, they had the famous coach on board. I can't remember who. There was reports. Super easy way to think of it. This kid's also a whiz kid. I don't trust anybody 30 years old in a hoodie. I just don't. I like them, but I ain't giving you my money unless it's money I don't care about, and then I get to watch you gamble, and then you let me know what happened. But you can't treat it like true investments. I keep thinking of that one NFL player for the Carolina Panthers, and he took his salary in Bitcoin. No. I don't remember who did that, but what? Steph Curry was in on FTX. Naomi Osaka. Oh, my God.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Well, there was a report.
Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, Ohtani, too. Oh, he's a baseball player, if you don't know. So basically, it became like a Bernie Madoff thing. There was a report out saying it's not financially stable, and there's a lot of bullshit going on, and he owns 2 exchanges. One's called Alameda, one's called... So then there started to be a run on the cash.
Which should be illegal.
he shouldn't be able to own two. I don't know. But that's the thing. And everybody hates Elizabeth Warren because she reminds you of your strict aunt. But she's the one that keeps coming out going, hey, there's no regulation on any of this. It's like putting your money in. If I opened a bank that just said Madigan's Bank, I have no credentials, I have nothing, and you bring me my money, that bank could be gone tomorrow. Right. Kathleen has moved on. Yep. And you know what? You gave me the money. Right. Sorry. Yeah. You knew there was no backing. That's what the problem with crypto is. Right. But it's also what the kids like about it, that it's not regulated. This guy was a whiz kid, though, 30-year-old MIT guy, and everybody thought he was a genius, and he was going to give away all of his money, which I think was another bullshit thing just to get him on CNBC. Jim Cramer's wrong about everybody. Do not listen to Jim Cramer. He's the one who said Elizabeth Holmes was the next Steve Jobs. They have videos of all this. He said this guy was the next so-and-so, the next child genius. Well, now he's in the Bahamas. All of this was started by a bunch of 30-somethings. Yes, they're very smart, MIT educated, blah, blah, blah. But they're in hoodies in the Bahamas. First of all, why are you in the Bahamas? You go there for vacation. You don't live there and create companies there unless you're doing something sneaky.
The Bahamas is like Switzerland.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're going there because it's sneaky. Yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah. He's an MIT educated guy, 30-something. I also don't like it if you don't comb your hair.
Yeah, you're strict.
I'm strict. When it comes to, if I'm going to give you my money, you have to look like you woke up and knew where a shirt was and a comb was. Mm-hmm. Is that too much to ask?
No.
I don't know, man. I don't trust the casualness of it. Mm-hmm. Money's serious. Yep. Act like a serious person.
You don't appear to be a serious person.
I am not a serious person. That's why I give money to serious people. Yeah, I have doggy coin. My $500 is now at $300.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. That's at his peak, he was worth $26 billion. And then his worth has dropped to $16 billion. We're still talking about billions. Oh, Gisele did it too. Yeah. So CoinDesk released a bombshell report that called into question how stable his empire really was. And then everybody started doing the Bernie Madoff. Oh, shit, we got to get our money out of there. And then he didn't have enough money. He wasn't sure if he had enough money to cover the money of everybody taking the money out. He's holed up in the Bahamas somewhere. One of the children, I love it, tracked his jet to Argentina. Now, I don't know if that is true, but that's where his jet went. I don't know if he was in it. Yeah. But, if you had a bunch of your money with this guy, as soon as people panicked, they tried to liquidate $530 million. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They had they had a $6 billion withdrawal in the course of 72 hours.
Whoa.
Time to run away. So I don't know what's going to happen to this guy because I feel like it goes into the con man thing. You gave your money to this man of free will. Yep. Do I think he should be in trouble? Yes, but there's no rules that say he will. That's why a bank, there are rules that you will get in trouble if you steal my money. Exactly. So the Wild West, we'll keep up on that one. Next week, I'm going to tell you about a UFO incident in Michigan in 1994 that I'd never heard of. That's pretty. Whoa. Yep. We're going to end this on a feel-good story. Oh, nice. Yep. I have a super feel-good one for next week, too.
Super feel-good.
Yeah, there's feel-goods, and then there's super feel-goods. Well, I feel very good that Dolly got $100 million because I trust that she'll do the right thing. Yeah. This is super cool, and you'll have to put in a little effort on your own and go look at the video. Okay. Black Canadian lynx photographed for the first time ever.
Oh, so wonderful.
He's all black. Low-resolution still images of a melanistic Canadian lynx taken from, doesn't matter. A black-coated Canada lynx was photographed for the first time ever by a researcher at the University of Alberta, Canada. Thomas Jung, also employed by the government of Yukon, recorded the animal in a 30-second video on a cell phone. I saw the video.
So cool.
It's amazing, and it's a big one.
It made the Canadian national news.
It did. This unique finding is reported in an article, Paint It Black, first record of a black Canadian lynx. The lynx was found on a summer day, so August 29th, 2020, in a rural residential area near the town of Whitehorse, Yukon. Whitehorse, I believe, is a town where you have to leave your doors unlocked because of polar bears.
Not polar bears,
Yeah.
That's Manitoba you're thinking about.
No, it's the town of Whitehorse.
Whitehorse is the capital of the
You,
Yukon.
Whitehorse is the capital of Yukon? Why would that mean there can't be polar bears there? What are you talking about? Google it. Giggle it. Google it.
There might be.
Whitehorse polar bear law. Do it.
You got this close.
The town of Whitehorse, which contains low-density housing embedded in a mature forest dominated by white spruce. The lynx was viewed... What?
You sound like a realtor.
What? Yeah. Low-density housing embedded in a mature forest dominated by white spruce. The lynx was viewed from a distance about 50 meters and was relatively undisturbed by the presence of nearby people and a dog until it left the area, possibly due to the dog's barking. Several Canada lynx experts have examined the footage and confirmed that the animal is indeed a lynx. Unfortunately, the low-resolution images do not permit detailed examination, although some minor features are detectable. It had a black coat containing whitish-gray guard hairs throughout, as well as whitish-gray hairs in the facial, ruff, and dorsal regions. So he's probably an old turtle. He's an old cat.
You're thinking of Churchill, Manitoba.
You're right. I'm thinking of Churchill, Manitoba.
The only thing that comes up in Whitehorse is you can't shoot a polar bear.
You can't shoot a polar bear. Well, see, they must have them. Somebody shot one.
If you see a unicorn or a polar bear, don't shoot
What's the town I like?
Churchill.
Me and Gregoire, my comedian friend, we want to go there because we want to see polar bears. But if you live there, you have to keep your doors unlocked in case someone else is out walking in a polar bear and they need to seek shelter. All doors must remain unlocked. But then I think if you don't lock them, I've seen bears on Instagram where they just they come on in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a McDonald's in Whitehorse.
There's a McDonald's in Whitehorse.
Yeah, we should go there and drive down.
One of the researcher guys said it's going to suck for this guy, this black Canadian lynx, because the dark color might put the animal at a distinct disadvantage when hunting hares during the winter. Well, I'm glad we got him on camera if he's not going to make it through the winter.
Maybe he'll be a feral lynx.
They're all feral lynx.
Somebody can feed it.
If
Like your cats.
somebody feed him like these cats. I don't know that he'd stay. Maybe. Yeah, maybe someone will just give him food and then he won't have to hunt and then he won't die because he's not going to be able to hunt because the rabbits are going to see him. The rabbits don't see the other ones. All right, termites.
This is a great podcast.
Thank you, Paddles.
Yeah, you did a lot of work.
I did a lot of work on this one. You're going to learn some more about the Stradivarius. I'm going to learn where they found it because
I gotta learn how to
this article doesn't say that. I just assumed it would tell me. That was a bad assumption on my part.
Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm not ready for Thanksgiving, but I'll be in the Ozarks having a big old time. But show-wise, I'm heading out. I'm going to Welch, Minnesota, for a casino gig where I will get to meet Louis Anderson's sister.
Nice.
I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
Yeah. She's coming to the show. Feel good about that. And my little friend Ron White will be there the night before, so I will be going up early, and I will be hanging out with Mr. Ron because I think they have to leave that night. Ron's retiring, and his bus broke down. The back end of the bus basically fell off, and I thought, you've literally reached the end of the road.
Yeah.
When your bus is on two wheels and the back's falling off, it's time to retire. And I think he's timed this perfectly. And I'm very excited about that. And then Thanksgiving, and then out to a casino in Spokane, Washington. Northern Quest. And then down to El Cajon, where there's a Mexican restaurant that I cannot think of the name of, but I'm going to find it again. That is so good. And then Riverside, I just love going to the Mission Inn, and just there's a Mexican restaurant kind of attached to that. And Riverside's got its own little thing going on out there that's kind of a little super magical. So I'm excited about that. And then I get to take time off.
Nice.
I'll still do a podcast, but yes, I'm getting tired. This is where I knew I've been on the road too long. Well, the Green Room in Cincinnati, some of the old theaters, the theater's gorgeous, but it's very old. And sometimes backstage, it's like very weird plumbing. Whatever people think is going on back there, trust me, is not.
It's not magical.
No, it's just like, ooh, I don't know. And it's always scary. There's not enough in the old ones. But there was no place to put my makeup bag, so I put my makeup in the sink. And then I walked up to the sink and I didn't know it was automatic, and the water just poured into my makeup bag. And I almost started crying, and I thought, well, I've been on the road too long when I'm about to cry over something like this. Like, it doesn't matter. But it was just another flipping thing where I'm like, are you shitting me? This sink is automatic? It looks like it's from the 1800s. I didn't even think water would come out at all. More or less, oh, hey, when your body walks up to it, and then I flipped it all out on this coffee table backstage, and Aaron, the owner, came in. He was like, ooh, what happened here? Ooh. I go, don't even ask me. I'm having a bad day. The travel was ridiculous. It's a goddamn snowstorm. Nobody decided to tell me about. Oh, what? Yes, I went to the bar. It's called the Mount Adams Bar and Grill. It's up on Mount Adams, which if I was going to live in Cincinnati, I might want to live there, except the parking seems weird. But it's like a mountain that overlooks the rivers, and it's all very old-timey. And, yeah, it's there's an Irish bar up there, too, but they don't serve food. I went for lunch. Yeah, it was great. It's, like, super old, and it feels like a, kind of a classic old pub type deal. All right, termites. We're all now, I think, winter termites. We're Thanksgiving termites. I don't like the fall. What happened to the 50s and 60s? It just went from 70 to snowing. Bullshit. Like, there should be 2 weeks of 60 and then 2 weeks of 50, but there's no slide anymore into seasons. It's just bam. And it's done. I mean, the thing says 40. Minnesota's going to be 19. Whoa. I looked it up. Thank God I'm in a casino and have zero desire to go outside. Because, and then that's the actual temperature, 19, not what it feels like, which to me is death.
Don't shoot a polar bear.
I'm not going to shoot a polar bear. I don't think I have any. I don't think my pink BB gun that I like to shoot towards the geese that shit all over the yard. I don't think my pink BB gun could take down.
You look like a crazy person.
I know. Well, my neighbor, Jeff, has a goose gun, but it's not a gun. It shoots like I would call, like in skeet shooting when they go pull and that thing fires out. Something like that fires out, and it makes this crazy-ass noise. He always sends me a text before he does it. Yeah, he's like, shooting off the geese gun, don't be alarmed. And I'm like, whatever. It goes, this crazy whistle thing. But here's the thing, Jeff. Love my neighbor. But I think I went and Googled it because I thought, maybe I'll get one of those. That'd be fun, right? Yeah. And they're not cheap. And here's what the geese do. They all go, oh, shit. And then they go, oh, it's that thing. They don't leave. Like, they leave for a minute. 1 minute. They don't care. They do not care. But I like it when he sets it off. It's always kind of mildly exciting. It's like fireworks or something. You just hear this giant whistle. But I can't really say that I think it works. It doesn't work. It works for a minute. Mainly, I think he just likes to shoot it. Yeah. And I'm not even sure something comes out. I can't tell. I think it's just the noise, but I don't know if a thing comes out with it. I've never seen anything travel in the air.
Google it.
I'll Google it. Yeah. Okay, termites. I will see you guys down the road. I will talk to you next week. In the meantime, bundle up, make your mashed potatoes, make real ones. Yeah. Don't be lazy. It's not even about being cheap. It's about being lazy. Don't be lazy. Make real mashed potatoes. And my mom says, well, I'll make the dressing. But here's the thing with my mom. Because it's just her and my dad now. She'll show up with like 2 cups of dressing for like 38 people. Mom, what the fuck is that? Well, I forgot. It's just, it's mostly me and your dad these days. Right, but this is Thanksgiving.
Make some backup for it.
I hope my one sister-in-law makes a weird salad because every year she does, and then my dad will walk up, and it's because everything's like in an assembly line. And he'll go, what is this shit? Dad, that's salad. I don't think so. Who told you that? It's kale. I don't eat that. I know. Just keep moving. Just keep on moving, Jackalope. You get down to the turkey and the gravy and the mashed potatoes and be quiet. Are there any normal string beans, or are those weird too? So, no, I like Thanksgiving, though. I'm excited. And then we'll go
Are you going to do a video of your mom's dressing?
My mom's dressing could be held in a Tupperware container that's 6x4.
No, but I mean, you make it every year.
I'll make it. Yeah, I make the dressing because she won't. She'll just make enough.
I'll do a video. Be fun.
I'll make some videos.
And you let me take some.
Yes, you can take some because I can't eat all that. I mean, I could, but I won't. All right, termites, that's it.